Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad-gita, as it is, chapter 10, text 11, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Tesham evanukampartham aham agyana jangtamaha nashiyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Krishna says, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. To show them, that Krishna is referring to the previous verse, means those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love. Hare Krishna. Purport. When Lord Chaitanya was in Benares promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Benares at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. There are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as stated in this verse. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, simply by speculating. For the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand Him or to achieve Him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth, Krishna, pleased, and by his inconceivable energy he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears, and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad-gita. By studying Bhagavad-gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord, engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. I chose to speak on this verse today because in the translation as well as in the purport, Srila Prabhupada refers to special mercy. I want to speak about special mercy. It's something that we hear quite a lot of. We hear about it quite a lot these days. Srila Prabhupada often uses this term in his purports and translations. This idea of special mercy should not be thought of as a factor which means that we get special mercy and then we don't have to surrender to Krishna. We don't have to give up sense gratification. There's no special mercy for those who don't turn off their cell phones. Yes, please switch off your cell phone. Put it on silent mode or throw it out the window. Best. So this, the common Hindu idea. We're not supposed to be Hindus, by the way. We're supposed to be pure devotees of Krishna. There is a very great difference. So it's a common Hindu idea that you just have a guru. Guru kripa hi kevalam. Have you ever heard that? Guru kripa hi kevalam. I used to hear it a lot in Bangladesh. With the idea that, well, you just have a guru and Guru gives you mercy and then you don't have to do anything. The Guru does everything for you. The Guru is so kind that he just does everything. And there is in one branch of Christianity the idea that if you it's also there in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, one branch of the Ramanuja Sampradaya, the idea that if you think you have to do anything to attain God, that's offensive to Him, because He does everything for you. It is, however, a misconception and leads to many problems. Just like in the 1980s when I was preaching in Bangladesh, and we'd tell people, well, you have to follow principles, you have to follow sadhana, and they'd just say, Guru kripa hi kevalam. That's all. Just get the mercy, that's all. You don't have to do anything. What's this funny idea you're talking about following principles, practicing bhakti? Guru does everything for you. So, when we come to this Krishna conscious movement, we're supposed to receive a spiritual education. Srila Prabhupada, when he was asked, what about you need someone to, you need some guards to stop people walking in front of the camera. It's okay? It's all right. You don't mind if they walk in front of the camera. All right. Yes, when Srila Prabhupada was asked about what is the religion, this Hare Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada said it's not a religion, it's a spiritual, cultural, philosophical, educational movement meant for the re-spiritualization of the entire world. There you go, there's another. Walking in front of the camera. I guess it adds variety to just looking at my face. So, whatever background we come from, we tend to, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we tend to mix that up with our cultural background. we're supposed to come as blank slates. This idea is given, blank slate, so we can just learn about Krishna consciousness without mixing up our own ideas. So unless we take a very serious education in Krishna consciousness, then we're going to mix it up with our previous ideas. We have so many ideas before we come to Krishna consciousness of what is proper, what is improper, what is right, what is wrong. Coming from a Hindu background is an advancement culturally over coming from a Christian background, for instance. But there are problems with that also. For instance, if we impart into our idea of Krishna consciousness the idea that, well, you just have a guru and that's all, then we're not really going to understand what Krishna consciousness is, because gurus are, after all, meant to be teachers. We're supposed to learn something. In fact, we're supposed to relearn everything. Krishna says, Sarva dhamman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Give up all your previous ideas of dharma and simply take full shelter in me, surrender unto me. This verse, you probably all know the verse. In South India in particular, the devotees, they like to learn verses, but it's not just meant to be a verse for learning. We're actually supposed to follow it in our lives. So this idea that without trying hard, just by blessings, or another kevalam is Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. You just chant, you don't need to follow and you don't need to do anything else, which is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings or the teachings of the Shastra. Hare Nama Eva Kevalam doesn't mean that you only have to chant Hare Krishna. And Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam doesn't mean that you only have to have Guru Kripa. That means that these are essential. The process of chanting Hare Krishna entails Shravanam. It entails surrender. It entails following principles. So to say that you just chant Hare Krishna and then do anything you like, that is a misunderstanding. Or to say Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam, well, we have to understand what Guru Kripa is. Guru Kripa means Guru teaches us how to live in such a way that we can develop in Krishna consciousness. So without proper understanding, then if we just emphasize mercy, 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 then we're going to end up like the Bengali Sahajiyas who think that, well, you don't have to do anything, you just chant sometimes when you feel like it, when the singer appeals to your senses, and just the Guru comes and looks at you, and that's it. You don't have to do anything. So in the meantime, they're doing all kinds of materialistic activities, and they don't make any real advancement in devotional service. There's a lot of talk of prema, but we have to distinguish what is prema and what is kam. Atendriya priti vancha tare bole kam krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam. There's another one gonna walk in front. Why don't you put someone to stop people walking in front of the camera? It's not such a difficult. You need one on both sides. And you have to watch out. Otherwise, you see, there's another one coming right now. No, she went round the other side. So without understanding the difference between prema and kama, what is material desire and what is pure love for Krishna, we can talk of prema, but there won't be prema. So what is this special mercy, this idea that just by blessing you get everything? Now we do hear in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that there were instances, actually Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Benares promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And thousands of people would follow him. They were attracted to him. Some did not come. The Mayavadis of Benares, they did not come. They blasphemed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he gave them his mercy in a different way. He also brought them to the chanting, but they were more difficult cases. It wasn't that just by looking at him or seeing him, they took up Krishna consciousness. He discussed with them. He convinced them philosophically. So it wasn't that everybody just by seeing him. Of course, people who had any piety were impressed by him by seeing him. But then also it's described that when he was in South India, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he would discuss with so many different scholars, Sri Vaishnavas, Tattvavadis, Jains, Buddhists, Smartas, all different kinds of people. So it wasn't that just by seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone would become a Vaishnava. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Kripa Avatar. He is the very descent of mercy in this world. Some of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers also, Abhiram Thakur, is said to have had a whip, and by whipping people they would get Krishna prema. It's not a normal process. It's not a recommended process that anyone try that, but some followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nakul Brahmachari, many people would come to him and it was just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being personally present. And they would get that special mercy by which they would be infused with Krishna prema. However, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did teach the process of devotional service, and that is summarized in his teachings to Rupa Goswami as they appear in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that is elaborated upon by Srila Rupa Goswami, who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing in his book Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There is a process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave out of his mercy by which we can make advancement, and Rupa Goswami summarized that: Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Atha Bhajana Kriya Tato Nartha Nivritti Sat Tato Nishta Ruchis Tata Tato Bhava Tato Nishta, what is it? Bhava Asaktis Tato Bhava Tata Prema Bhujanchati Sadhakanangayam Premna Sadhakanam Bhavet Kramaha. There is a step-by-step process by which one can advance in devotional service. So, we're always looking for something cheap, quick, easy, but we do have to surrender to Krishna. This idea that you just get some mercy and that's all in all, as seems to be quite popular, or going around the ISKCON circles these days. It's not in the teachings of the Shastra or the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. I looked up, nowadays we have the Veda base, so you can look up very easily. Yeah, when you're indicating, you have to keep your hand out of the path of the camera also, otherwise it comes to the same thing. That's why I was suggesting someone on each side. So I looked up in the Veda base special mercy, and Srila Prabhupada often translates where we see in the Sanskrit or the Bengali terms for mercy. There are various words for mercy. Here in this verse, Anukampa is translated as mercy. Kripa Daya, these are very common terms. Prasad, Karuna, these are all different terms which mean mercy. And Srila Prabhupada would often translate this as special mercy. Now actually mercy means special. If the same facility is given to everyone, then it's not really mercy, is it? It's just like if there are 100 people who are sentenced to death and one of them is said, okay, you can just go to prison for a few years. That's special, that's mercy, because it's special. But if they're all acquitted, they're all guilty, but anyway, just go and break some bricks for a few years, don't get hanged, then it's mercy is given to all of them. So it's not for any individual, it's not special, it's all the same. So mercy by its very nature is special. So in one sense, everything is mercy. Our very existence is mercy. Mercy means we get some facility from those who are superior to us, that we don't really deserve, or we didn't really qualify for it, but anyway they give it. So our whole existence is mercy. The very fact that we exist, we're completely dependent upon Krishna. So mercy, if it's something routine, then it's not really mercy. So what is the meaning of special mercy? Well, I thought about this, and then there is this statement we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's quoted from Swarup Damodar Goswami, one verse he has made, describing the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Amando Daya Daya, which means that mercy which does not give rise to anything manda, which means undesirable. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he elaborated on the meaning of this, that if you give mercy to one section of society, that will what mercy you give to them also causes them harm and causes harm to others. Just like, for instance, if you are merciful to a group of hungry people by feeding them goat's meat, which is called mutton in Indian English, not in English. For your information, if you're interested, sheep's meat is called mutton in English, and goat's meat isn't eaten much. So it's maybe merciful to the hungry people, but it's not merciful to the goats. The goats don't feel very happy that they're being fed or having their throats cut. And also, although it may be mercy to the hungry people, they will also have to suffer karmic reaction for having eaten meat. And the whole concept of helping people on the material platform actually causes them harm, because the very idea that we can be happy in this material world, or that our actual benefit is in this material world, that militates against the actual understanding that we are eternal servants of Krishna, and our only real happiness is in the service of Krishna, surrendering to Krishna. So all kinds of material mercy, they actually cause harm. The very idea that there can be mercy on the material platform, although it's true in one sense, but it covers the real meaning of mercy. It accentuates or exacerbates or increases, to use an easy word, it increases the illusion of thinking that this material world is a place that's nice, that we should live in. So real mercy is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, which is that mercy by which we get free from all misconceptions and go back home, back to Godhead, where we don't suffer anymore, where there's no cheating, where there's no misunderstanding or personal interest. So that's real mercy. That's special mercy. Now, I'm going to read a few quotes from Srila Prabhupada in which he uses the term special mercy. And we can analyze this, or I'll analyze it. Srila Prabhupada writes, if one is placed in material opulence due to the special mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he should not consider that opulence a cause for bondage. So this refers to a devotee who gets lots of money. So the devotee should understand that this is mercy of the Lord upon me, means an opportunity to use that in the service of Krishna. That's not that we think that the mercy, now by God's mercy, I got lots of money, and so I don't have to think about God anymore. All that time I wasted doing bhakti, now I got the result, and now I can enjoy myself. Just like someone, they were working hard, and then they got lots of money, and they think, oh, now all that time I spent working, now I got money, I don't have to work, I can enjoy myself. So you may think, oh, all that time I was doing bhakti, now I got lots of money, I don't have to do it anymore, now I can just enjoy myself. But that is, that shows that anyone who thinks like that, they weren't really a devotee at all. They were a merchant. But a devotee who gets money, he gets opulence, that doesn't become a cause for his bondage. That is special mercy of the Lord. That's not like anyone who gets wealthy, you can say that's the mercy of God on him. But it's not the real mercy. It's not the full mercy, not the special mercy of the Lord. When a devotee gets money, then he takes that's the mercy of Krishna. Let me use it for Krishna's service. Now, another quotation from Srila Prabhupada. The ordinary common living entity after death is transferred to the womb of another mother according to his karma or activities to take another type of body. But as far as the devotee is concerned, he is at once transferred to the spiritual world in the association of the Lord. That is the Lord's special mercy. So that is the special mercy of Krishna, that he takes the devotee back to Godhead. Another quotation. Without Krishna's mercy, one cannot get out of the filthy entanglement of materialistic life. The poor living entity cannot give up his materialistic position on his own. Only when granted the special mercy of Krishna can he give it up. So this idea that, well, you just get the mercy of the Guru, and then you go on more or less like a materialist, and you chant Hare Krishna sometimes, but our way of thinking is materialistic. I need money, I have to send my children to study in America so they can get shot dead on the campus. It's more prestigious to get shot dead in America than to be gang raped in India. Doesn't come in the news as much also. So, Srila Prabhupada writes here about the filthy entanglement of materialistic life. So Krishna's special mercy is to get out of that. Not that one continues in a more or less materialistic mindset and also chants Hare Krishna. You can do that, but that means that you didn't get Krishna's special mercy. The idea that we can go on enjoying our material life and also chant Hare Krishna sometimes, that's special mercy. That's not special mercy. That's the mercy of Maya, by making us think that we're in bhakti when we're not. We've twisted the whole concept around. So, another quotation from Srila Prabhupada. Elevation to this stage of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. One is by constant association with pure devotees. The other way is by the special mercy of Krishna, or by the mercy of a pure devotee of Krishna. Elevation to the ecstatic stage of life is generally attained through association with pure devotees, while elevation to that stage by the special mercy of Krishna or his devotee is very rare. The purport is that one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees, so that there will be certainty in raising oneself to that ecstatic position. In special cases, of course, there is special favor from Krishna, and although we should always expect that, we should not sit idly and simply wait for Krishna's special mercy. The regular duties must be performed. It is just as when sometimes it is found that a person who never attended school or college may be recognized as a great scholar, or an honorary degree from great universities may be offered to him. But this does not mean that one should avoid school and expect to automatically receive an honorary degree from some university. Similarly, one should devoutly execute the regulative principles of devotional service and at the same time hope for Krishna's favor or his devotees' favor. Srila Prabhupada often gave this example, that one should not wait to get an honorary degree from a university. That you're lying in bed all day and, well, why don't you go to the university? No need, I'm just waiting for them to give me an honorary degree. It's a ridiculous proposition. There are cases of special mercy, just like we hear about the dog who was favored by Shivananda Singh. But that doesn't mean that we should wait to be a dog favored by Shivananda Singh. It also doesn't mean that we should keep a dog and think that we're on the level of Shivananda Singh and that by my mercy this dog will go back to Godhead. More likely you'll think of a dog at the time of life and become a dog. So it's very important not to twist the philosophical understanding. Special mercy means it's special, it's rare. Don't wait for an honorary degree. It's a very silly idea if you think, I will wait for an honorary degree. Anyway, we're lucky to get the opportunity to engage in devotional service, but even then, if we think, well, I won't do anything and I'll just wait for some special mercy. The special mercy is the opportunity to engage in devotional service, not the word jugglery to avoid surrendering to Krishna in the name of special mercy. Okay, another quote. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives, but he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it, and that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. And in the purport, this is from Bhagavatam, 5th canto, Srila Prabhupada writes, the Lord is so kind even to a sakama bhakta, a motivated devotee, that he satisfies his desires in such a way that one day he becomes an akama bhakta. Foolish people think that devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Factually, the pure devotees who are engaged... wait a minute. What's going on here? I'm getting mixed up here. So, this is another quote from another section, from the 1st canto. Foolish people think that devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy. Factually, the pure devotees who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are not a mercantile community. Understand what that means? That means that it's not some business exchange. I'll offer you one stick of agarbatti and you give me Krishna prem. It doesn't work. Or I'll offer you one stick of agarbatti. Or I'll offer you 10 lakhs of rupees and you have to give me more back. A mercantile house renders service to someone in exchange for values. The pure devotee does not render service unto the Lord for such exchange, and therefore the full mercy of the Lord is open for him. So, if one has material desires and worships Krishna, then Krishna might take away those material desires and give you pure devotional service. But it's not guaranteed. Krishna is not forced to. Just because you come in front of him and wave a stick of incense doesn't mean that Krishna is forced to, now Krishna has to award you pure devotional service. He may do so. But on the whole, the position of being a Sakam Bhakta is not at all recommended in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. He taught pure devotional service to Krishna. So we often hear this verse quoted, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether one is desireless, full of desires, or desires liberation, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the translation, right? Is that the translation? There was something missing. Tivrena. Very intensely one should worship. Like Dhruva Maharaj. One should worship very intensely. So if one worships very intensely, then one becomes absorbed in thought of Krishna. But if one thinks, even if one worships for a material desire. Another example is Diti. It's given in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, I believe. Is it 8th or 9th? 8th. She was engaged by her husband Kashyap in worship of Krishna in such a way. She had a very bad desire. She wanted to kill Indra. But Kashyap engaged her in service to Vishnu in an intense way. She had to follow devotional service very intensely, and then she became purified. So it's not that we can perform all materialistic activities and a little bhakti on the side and think that, well, I'll get purified. That is not being encouraged. Another quotation from Srila Prabhupada. It is by the mercy of the Lord that one gets all material opulence, but if such material opulence causes one to become puffed up and forget the process of self-realization, the Lord certainly takes all the opulence away. The Lord bestows mercy upon his devotee by helping him find out his constitutional position. That is the actual mercy. For that purpose, the Lord is always ready to help the devotee in every way. So if one is sincere to serve Krishna and surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will help the devotee in every way. That is his real mercy. But material opulence is sometimes dangerous because it diverts one's attention to false prestige by giving one the impression that he is the owner and master of everything he surveys. Although actually this is not the fact. To protect the devotee from such a misunderstanding, the Lord, showing special mercy, sometimes takes away his material possessions. Yasyaham anugrahnami harishe tadhanang shanai. This means that Krishna says, when I'm merciful to someone, I gradually take away all their wealth. So Srila Prabhupada at the beginning of this paragraph says that by the mercy of the Lord one can get material opulence, but then he quotes Krishna himself saying that I'm merciful to someone by taking away their material opulence. So either way, a devotee sees it all as Krishna's mercy. Materialistic people, when they get money, they think, well, it's all because of it's because I'm a very pious person or I worked hard to get it. And when they take it away, they say it's God's fault. Whereas a devotee, if he gets money, he thinks Krishna's mercy. And if he loses money, he thinks Krishna's mercy. Takes it all as Krishna's mercy. So, another quotation here. Bali Maharaj became famous for all time by being deprived of all his possessions. This is the special mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead towards his devotees. If you don't have any material possessions and you're a devotee of Krishna, then you don't have anything left. If you have Krishna plus my bank balance, then you got something other than Krishna. If you have no bank balance, then you've only got Krishna. That's called akinchana. Krishna's one name is akinchana dhan. One who has nothing, his only wealth is Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada quotes this again. The Lord says, Yas yaham anugrihnami harishet haddanang shanaihi. The special mercy of the Lord for the neophyte devotee is that he becomes materially poor. Oh, how are we going to preach? We're bringing people in, neophytes, newcomers are by definition neophyte. And if we tell them that the special mercy of the Lord upon you is that you get poor, they'll think, this is the wrong temple for me. I'm going to the Sai Baba temple. So we tell, come to the temple, you'll get the special mercy of God and He'll give you all riches. But don't show them Prabhupada's books, because they might read it and say the special mercy of the Lord for the neophyte devotees that becomes materially poor. Hey, wait a minute, I don't want this. Forget it. So that is the mercy of the Lord on the neophyte devotee. Becomes materially poor. Oh no, really? That's terrible. Oh, I'm not poor. That means I must be an advanced devotee. So, another quotation from Srila Prabhupada. There are two kinds of highly elevated devotees called Sadhana Siddha and Kripa Siddha. Sadhana Siddha refers to one who has become a devotee by regular execution of the regulative principles mentioned in the Shastras, as ordered and directed by the spiritual master. If one regularly executes such devotional service, he will certainly attain perfection in due course of time. But there are other devotees who may not have undergone all the required details of devotional service, but who, by the special mercy of Guru and Krishna, the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, have immediately attained the perfection of pure devotional service. Examples of such devotees are the Yagyapatnis, Maharaj Bali and Shukdev Goswami. The Yagyapatnis were the wives of ordinary Brahmanas engaged in fruitive activities. Although the Brahmanas were very learned and advanced in Vedic knowledge, they could not achieve the mercy of Krishna Balaram, whereas their wives achieved complete perfection in devotional service despite their being women. Similarly, Vairochani, Bali Maharaj, received the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj, and by Prahlad Maharaj's mercy, he also received the mercy of Lord Vishnu. Please turn off your cell phones. Who appeared before him as a brahmachari beggar. Thus Bali Maharaj became a Kripa Siddha because of the special mercy of both Guru and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms this favor. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Bali Maharaj, by the grace of Prahlad Maharaj, got the seed of devotional service, and when that seed developed, he achieved the ultimate fruit of that service, namely love of Godhead. Prema Pumarto Mahan, immediately upon the appearance of Lord Vamanadev. Bali Maharaj regularly maintained devotion for the Lord, and because he was purified, the Lord appeared before him. Because of unalloyed love for the Lord, he then immediately decided, I shall give this little dwarf Brahmana whatever he asks from me. This is a sign of love. Thus, Bali Maharaj is understood to be one who received the highest perfection of devotional service by special mercy. But he also gave away everything that he had. Then he got the special mercy. the special mercy of Prahlad Maharaj that was cultivated in the heart of Bali Maharaj, Vairochani, the son of a great demon, Virochana, so that he had the attitude to want to give everything to Krishna. So from the purport, when in spite of possessing all these opulences, a person is not proud, this means that he is fully aware that all his opulences are due to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He therefore engages all his possessions in the service of the Lord. So this is a sign of mercy. If one loses all one's opulence, that is the mercy. Or if one has opulence but one uses it all in the service of Krishna, that is that is the symptom that one has got the mercy of Krishna. If one is still trying to enjoy this material world, that means you didn't really get the mercy at all. That's not mercy. That's foolishness. And on top of that, if you think I got the mercy of Krishna, that's double foolishness. A devotee knows very well that everything, even his body, belongs to the Supreme Lord. If one lives perfectly in such Krishna consciousness, it is to be understood that he is especially favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conclusion is that one's being deprived of his wealth is not to be considered the special mercy of the Lord. So, we have different quotations in different parts of Srila Prabhupada's writings. So everything has to be understood very carefully. You may lose all your opulence. That's the mercy of the Lord. But we have to accept it as the mercy. If one continues in his opulent position but does not become unnecessarily proud, falsely thinking that he is the proprietor of everything, this is the Lord's special mercy. So it is one kind of mercy to lose everything, but it's a sign of greater mercy if one has everything and understands that actually nothing is mine, and not be proud and use everything in Krishna's service. So a quotation from another purport of Srila Prabhupada, this well-known verse is quoted in this purport from the 6th canto. Shinvatang swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantasto hi bhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Srila Prabhupada comments on this. It is the special mercy of the Supreme Lord that as soon as he knows that one is glorifying his name, fame and attributes, he personally helps cleanse the dirt from one's heart. So what is that dirt? Kam, krodh, lobh, material desire, material bad qualities. So Krishna's mercy is that we become purified. It's this idea that we remain in materialistic consciousness and we just get some special mercy. That is not special mercy at all. Mercy means that we become purified. The symptom of mercy is that we become purified from material contamination. That is the real mercy of Krishna. Not that we remain on the semi-mundane platform. That is not Krishna's mercy. Another quote from Srila Prabhupada. The special mercy for the unalloyed devotee is that the Lord saves him from hard labor to achieve the results of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. In other words, we have to do many difficult things. If we want to get the fruits of dharma, artha, and karma. Material life is very difficult, but bhakti is very easy. That is Krishna's mercy. Of course, if one wants such benefits, the Lord certainly awards them. Indra, for example, although a devotee, was not much interested in release from material bondage. Instead, he desired sense gratification and a high standard of material happiness in the heavenly planets. Vritrasura, however, being an unalloyed devotee, aspired only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord arranged for him to go back to Godhead after his bodily bondage was destroyed by Indra. Vritrasura requested Indra to release his thunderbolt against him as soon as possible, so that both he and Indra would benefit according to their proportionate advancement in devotional service. So Indra was a devotee, but he was a materialistic devotee, and therefore by the grace of Krishna he got the position of Indra, by which he could enjoy material life and remember Krishna sometimes. Vritrasura was a great devotee who circumstantially had been placed in the body of a demon, but he only desired to go back to Godhead. So they both got the mercy of Krishna. Indra got it in the way that he wanted it, and Vritrasura got it in the way that he wanted it. So they were both happy. Indra killed Vritrasura, and in this way Indra continued. Of course, he had to suffer for that also. But in this way Indra continued in his position of material opulence, and Vritrasura went back to Godhead. So they were both happy. Vritrasura said, "Come on, kill me. Kill me quick, so that you'll be happy and I'll be happy." So Srila Prabhupada used to say that the demigods, they want to take birth within our movement. So it seems that many or some of the members of our movement, they're in demigod consciousness. Let us be happy in this world, and also also Krishna will look after us. So it's gata gatam kama kama labhante. They coming from the heavenly planets. Be pious in this world, chant Hare Krishna, and you can go back to the heavenly planets. That is not what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. He taught us that this material world is horrible. Ai nanda tanuja kinkarang patitang bang vishame bhavam buddho. This material world is visham. It's terrible, horrible. So, some instances of special mercy. Narada, in a previous life, was the son of a maidservant. He got the mercy of the Bhakti Vedantas by serving them very faithfully. And by once only, with their permission, he took the remnants of their food. And they went away. And then his mother, once when she went to milk the cows, got bitten by a snake and died. And there was Narada, in a previous life, a young boy with no one to protect him. And as Narad later described, when he became Narad in a later life, he explained to Vyasadeva, "I took this as the special mercy of the Lord. Now I have no one to depend. My mother was showering me with affection. I was, what was that Bhaktivinoda says? Snehera Balaka." He describes how I was a young boy showered with affection, and he just forgot Krishna consciousness due to being loved by his relatives. So Narad took that as the special mercy of the Lord, that his mother died by the bite of a snake. Prahlad says that Hiranyakashipu, having been killed, is your special mercy upon him. So make sure, we're talking about special mercy. Be careful what kind of special mercy you're looking for. Seeing the two sons of the demigods naked and intoxicated by opulence and false prestige, Devarshi Narad, in order to show them special mercy, desired to give them a special curse. So if we're in association with devotees and we don't behave properly, then we might get their special mercy in a different way. Of course, although the two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they eventually got the mercy of Krishna by seeing his childhood pastimes and being delivered by him. They had to suffer standing as trees. Of course, you may say they were in Vrindavan, so how are they suffering? Because they were in materialistic consciousness, as is seen by the fact that even after they were delivered by Krishna, they went back to the heavenly planets. They didn't desire to join Krishna in his pastimes. But they got the mercy of Narada in as much as they were able to see Krishna. So, some more quotations about different devotees. Ramananda Rai from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ramananda said, "You, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, have bestowed special mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya." So that special mercy was that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became free from his Mayavad ideas. That was the special, and he became a pure devotee of Krishna without any misconceptions. So the idea that, well, you don't really have to do anything, or you can just go along in practically the same way that you're doing, you chant Hare Krishna, and you just get some special mercy. But the special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a complete change in his attitude. Not that he remained in the same consciousness that he was in before. There was a complete change in his attitude. So much so that people who previously praised Sarvabhauma, they later blamed him. We find that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi, that the Mayavadis, they were saying this Sarvabhauma, he was very good before, but by this Chaitanya's association, he became spoiled. So they blamed him. But Sarvabhauma, he completely changed. He became completely Krishna conscious, and he didn't care that others blamed him. King Prataparudra became one of the Lord's most confidential devotees by the Lord's special mercy upon him. To become a confidential devotee of Krishna, that's not going to happen by just, we have our dog and our cat and our material desires and our kami food and our TVs and our going to restaurants, and we think we'll get some special mercy and become a confidential devotee. This is not special mercy. This is special cheating on our part. Prataparudra was so serious about getting the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he was prepared to give up his kingdom, his prestige, actually to give up his worldly dharma of protecting the citizens if he could not get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That serious we have to be to get the special mercy. It's not such a cheap thing. That's the point. Then another quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada's purport. Devotees acknowledge Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy upon Srila Rupa Goswami in the following words. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Srila Prabhupada comments on this. The special function of Srila Rupa Goswami is to establish the feelings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These feelings are his desires that his special mercy be spread throughout the world in this Kali Yuga. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desires that his special mercy be spread throughout the world. But we have to understand what that special mercy is. Srila Prabhupada refers to the special mercy that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had bestowed upon Raghunath Das. Raghunath Das is, among all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das's position is very special. Among all the 6 Goswamis, he in particular enunciated or expressed the most confidential feelings of Radha Dasya, which is the mood of service to Radha, which is extremely confidential and which Srila Prabhupada did not speak about much. It's not something to be discussed very much in public, even among devotees, because the tendency among devotees is to take it to be something very cheap. So Srila Prabhupada didn't discuss this very much among devotees. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did, under very guarded circumstances. During the later years of his pastimes, during Kartik month, he would recite with his most advanced disciples, those who had been with him for more than 15 or 20 years, engaging in intense devotional service. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was intense, and he could only keep with him those who were similarly intense in their practice. So he would discuss these points in a guarded way, even then. So Raghunath Das, he in his writings, he expressed intense feelings of desire to serve Radharani. He came to that position after leaving his position of tremendous material opulence and accepting extreme austerity, even more than was normal for the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is that? Mahaprabhu Bhaktagane Vairagya Pradhan Jaha Dekhi Pritahan Gaura Bhagavan. This particular symptom, or the prominent symptom of the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is Vairagya. You've all heard that word. So they were all very renounced. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very pleased upon seeing that. But of all of them, Raghunath Das was most renounced, most intense in his service, in his desire, in his practice of Krishna consciousness. So it's not necessarily that we're not saying that he had more bhakti, but he expressed that. So that was special mercy. He got the special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So don't think that special mercy is something very cheap, that you just, special mercy, special mercy, special mercy. Another quotation from Srila Prabhupada's writings. Karmis who adopt devotional service very loosely, that means not very strictly, and who therefore remain on the platform of material activities are called prakrita sahajiyas. There's this term prakrita sahajiya. Prakrita means mundane. Sahajiya means those who take Krishna consciousness to be very cheap. There's another term, prakrita bhakta, which means a neophyte devotee. It means they're doing devotion, but they're also on the material platform. They're not really on the spiritual platform. They're performing devotional service very loosely. They cannot understand how pure devotional service is rendered in parental and conjugal love, for this can be understood only by the special mercy bestowed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu upon pure devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special gift is that, among his special gifts, is that he bestows the opportunity for devotional service or knowledge of devotional service on the platform beyond that of simply venerating the Supreme Lord, but one can actually love Him as a friend, one can love Him as a parent, one can love Him as a female lover. So this is special, this is the special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But those who render devotional service loosely, they cannot get that special mercy because that is bestowed upon pure devotees. So the idea that I'll more or less be materialistic, I'm very interested in career and money, and my children should also have a good career, and we should be respectable in human society, and we don't have to follow very strictly because we got special mercy. This is not the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is not the teachings of our acharyas. These are the teachings of Prakrita Sahajiyas. Another quotation from Srila Prabhupada. One of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. So we may get something material that appears to be bhakti. We got the property, we have the temples, and we have the position, and we have the prestige, and we're famous as great preachers. But you can be famous as a great preacher and be on the mundane platform also. Because the special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from the spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. So the special mercy or the full mercy goes to those who only want to serve. Those who want labha, puja, pratishta. Labha means property, money. Puja, those who want to be worshipped. Pratishta, those who want position. They cannot get, they can get the mercy of Krishna, but in a different way, in the manner of thinking that now I'm a great devotee. I'm in charge of all the properties. I'm in a big position. And everyone respects me as a great devotee. But that's not the real mercy. That is one kind of mercy, but that's not the real mercy. Again, Srila Prabhupada... Srila Prabhupada again. If we try in the proper way to realize the Supreme Lord's potencies, He will certainly reveal them to us as they are. If we try in the proper way. If we try... Did you hear those? If we try, that doesn't mean that just mercy descends on your head. We have to try by in the proper way. How much can we accomplish with our puny physical and mental abilities? Real success in yoga comes only by fully surrendering unto His lotus feet. This idea that we just get some mercy, then we don't have to surrender, or someone else does the surrendering for us. No, we have to decide to surrender. Just like Krishna asked Arjuna to turn his cell phone off. Krishna wanted Arjuna to surrender, but he said, are you ready? Have you accepted? Have you understood what I said? Krishna didn't say that, actually, Krishna could have just said to Arjuna said, I'm feeling discouraged. Don't worry, I'll just touch you and give you some special mercy. And then you'll be all right. Krishna didn't say that. He explained Bhagavad-gita to him, and then he asked Arjuna, do you want to accept it or not? And when Arjuna said yes, then Krishna gave Arjuna the special mercy of directing him at every moment on the battlefield and protecting him. But first he explained, and on the basis of his own decision, Arjuna decided to surrender. It wasn't that Krishna said, you decide, you do it for me. You're God, Why are you asking me to surrender? You do it for me. You manipulate me. But no, Krishna gives us independence by which we choose whether to surrender to him or not. Continuing. However, since it is not possible to attain such a mood of complete surrender in a moment, we should also not expect the Lord's mercy to manifest before us instantaneously. These are very important quotes. Although the Lord, and sometimes even his devotees, perform miracles, still we must not expect such extraordinary things to happen to us. Of course, it is certain that the degree of mercy the Lord bestows upon us is much greater than our degree of surrender to him. Just like Srila Prabhupada would sometimes say, if we make one step toward Krishna, he will make 10 toward us. But we still have to make one step toward him. And having made that one step, we have to make another one, and another one, and another one, and go to him. And he'll help by pulling us. But we have to decide that we want to go toward him. Another danger is this. If we were to receive all his mercy at once, we would become corrupt and fallen like many yogis who attain mystic perfection. If all of a sudden we get, we're just blessed with great advancement, but we're not actually ready, or we're not mature, we haven't made the surrender, then we become proud and think, oh, now I'm a great devotee, now I'm much better than everyone else. This is what Srila Prabhupada is suggesting. Better that we continue to perform our duties in a regulated way with patience and enthusiasm, then undoubtedly we will receive the Lord's full mercy. So again, we have to make gradual advancement by following the process, and the mercy is given to us as we surrender. Ye yata amang prapadyante tang tathaiva bhajami aham. Shukadev Goswami, to show his boundless mercy upon bewildered materialistic men who want to cross completely over nescience, recited for the first time this confidential knowledge. So boundless mercy of Shukadev Goswami means unlimited mercy. But that unlimited mercy wasn't that he went around just touching everybody and they all became Shaktipat. But he spoke, his boundless mercy was that he spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam so that persons can take advantage of it. In other words, the mercy is there, but we also have to take advantage of it. So the mercy is there in the instructions of Shastra, but we have to take it. Now this idea that just the Guru blesses us and that's it, finished, I don't have to do anything. But Srila Prabhupada writes, a spiritual master is recognized as an actual Guru when it is seen that he has changed the character of his disciples. So if we remain in more or less materialistic consciousness, but we become vegetarians and we chant our rounds somehow or other, and we remain more or less in materialistic consciousness, then our character hasn't really changed. If we're not interested in giving up sense enjoyment, becoming detached from this material world and completely surrendering to Krishna, then our character hasn't changed. If we still have largely the same goals in life that materialistic people do, but we also have some idea that by some special mercy we'll go back to Godhead, then it's something like the Christian idea that God blesses you and you enjoy this world and then he takes you to heaven, where you can sit on a cloud for the rest of eternity, enjoying watching everyone else burning in hell. So, changing the character of the disciples, it has to be seen that, what does that mean? Everyone in this world is materialistic, that one is interested. What is the symptom of a person who's actually in spiritual consciousness? That he doesn't have material aspirations. He spends all his time in Krishna consciousness. From Chaitanya Bhagavat, this is a translation of a purport by a commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The followers of the modern day late Mr. Nandi, who was an extremely attached householder worshipper of Gauranga. So it's possible to be a worshipper of Gauranga and also extremely attached householder. It means one is doing superficial worship of Gauranga, but one remains very attached to this material world. Support this Dari Sannyasi's philosophy. I won't get into the details, otherwise we'll go on long. But the Dari Sannyasi's conceptions of blessings is to attain a beautiful wife, wealth for exploiting the poor, materialistic education, and the thirst to maintain the prestige of one's hereditary caste to impress inferiors. Sri Gaurasundar did not approve the conceptions of such extremely attached householder Baba Thakurs and pointed out the faults in the Dari Sannyasi's blessings. Since lusty people cannot understand the mentality of the desireless Paramahansa Vaishnavas, they consider the Vaishnavas to be like themselves. So we think the blessings, so many times devotees come to me and ask me to bless their children so that they can study well in school. What is this nonsense? You should bless your child that they have no material desires and go to Krishna. They study well in school. What for? Why do you want them to study well in school? Why do you want to send them to that horrible school for anyway? From Chaitanya Charitamrita, purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that a bona fide disciple must be very inquisitive to understand the transcendental subject matter. Not that a disciple is blessings, that's all, blessings. But a bona fide disciple must be very inquisitive to understand the transcendental subject matter. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tasmad Gurung Prapadyeta Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. Surrender. So one has to surrender to a guru and inquire from him about the highest benefit, not inquire how my child can get a good education, so-called good education. So, Srila Prabhupada translates this. One who is inquisitive to understand the highest goal and benefit of life must approach a bona fide spiritual master and surrender unto him. Continuing the translation of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's comments. A serious disciple must be alert when selecting a bona fide spiritual master. He must be sure that the spiritual master can deliver all the transcendental necessities. The spiritual master must observe how inquisitive the disciple is and how eager he is to understand the transcendental subject matter. The spiritual master should study the disciple's inquisitiveness for no less than 6 months or a year. A spiritual master should not be very anxious to accept a disciple because of his material opulences. Sometimes a big businessman or landlord may approach a spiritual master for initiation. Those who are materially interested are called Vishayis, Karmis, which indicates that they are very fond of sense gratification. Such Vishayis sometimes approach a famous guru and ask to become a disciple just as a matter of fashion. Sometimes Vishayis pose as disciples of a reputed spiritual master just to cover their activities and advertise themselves as advanced in spiritual knowledge. In other words, they want to attain material success. The spiritual master must be very careful in this regard. Such business is going on all over the world. That's interesting. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this business of accepting a guru just to show yourself to be spiritual when actually you're materialistic, he said it's going on all over the world. That means that in various religious systems, people go to church or whatever, to the mosque, and show themselves to be very religious, but actually they're very materialistic. It's to run for the post of governor or president in the United States, political post, one has to be seen to go to, it's considered politically advantageous to go to church every Sunday, because then people will think he's a good religious person, even though they're rascal number one. But you have to be seen as being religious. It's not that you're very serious to actually understand God or surrender to Him, but you have to become part of, you have to be seen as being religious in the same way that other materialistic people are religious, that you go to church and that means you're good. Never mind that you're cheating people, eating meat, and totally mundane. The beauty queen, standing there in her bikini, says, "It's all by the blessings of Jesus." Very strange idea of what the mercy of God means. So this thing is going on all over the world. The spiritual master does not accept a materially opulent disciple just to advertise the fact that he has such a big disciple. He knows that by associating with such Vishayi disciples, he may fall down. One who accepts a Vishayi disciple is not a bona fide spiritual master. Even if he is, his position may be damaged due to association with an unscrupulous Vishayi. If a so-called spiritual master accepts a disciple for his personal benefit or for material gain, the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple turns into a material affair, and the spiritual master becomes like a smarta guru. So this idea that we're just getting the mercy and we're going on, we're chanting Hare Krishna and we want to send our kids to the best school, it's actually mundane. We didn't really come to the spiritual platform. The relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple is a material affair, even if it's going on under the banner of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who never taught us these things. There are many caste Goswamis who professionally create some disciples who do not care for them or their instructions, if they give any instructions. Such spiritual masters are satisfied simply to get some material benefits from their disciples. Such a relationship is condemned by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who calls such spiritual masters and disciples a society of cheaters and cheated. They are also called bowels or prakrita sahajiyas. Their aim is to make the connection between the spiritual master and the disciple into a very cheap thing. So the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple, it's not cheap, it's heavy. Guru means heavy. And the disciple also has to be, as we stated at the beginning of this purport, very inquisitive to understand the transcendental subject matter. So if we're just bringing people in and pushing them, come on, get initiated, but there's no depth, there's no seriousness, there's no inquisitiveness. Just how we can surrender to Krishna. How do I get free from this mundane attachment? But just blessings, blessings. It makes the whole thing very cheap. The connection between the spiritual masters and the disciple is very cheap. They are not serious in wanting to understand spiritual life. This whole idea is being promoted. Blessings, blessings, blessings. It means not serious in wanting to understand spiritual life. Of course, there is the blessings of the Guru. We're not saying it's not a factor. But to just say blessings, blessings, without emphasizing how we have to surrender, we have to practice sadhana very seriously. We have to become detached from material attachment. That means that we're not serious in wanting to understand spiritual life. Continuing the purport. Sadhu Sangha Kripa Kimba Krishna Kripai Kamadi Du Sangachari Shuddha Bhakti Pai. One is elevated to the platform of devotional life by the mercy of a Vaishnava, the bona fide spiritual master, and by the special mercy of Krishna. On that platform, one gives up all material desires and the association of unwanted people Thus one is elevated to the platform of pure devotional service. So we cannot get pure devotional service or prem bhakti and at the same time cultivate material desires. It's not that special mercy means you go on with your material desires and you also get prem, because the two don't go together. There is kam and there is prem. Atendriya priti vancha tare bole kam, Krishnendriya priti ichha dhare prema nam. They're two distinct attitudes. You can't have both. If we have kam, material desire, then we don't have prem. If we have prem, there's no question of kam. So this idea that we just go on in cultivating material desires, living with more or less the same attitudes as everyone around us, but we also, just by some special mercy, we're going to get prem. This is not the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the teachings of the Prakrita Sahajiyas, which will, if we continue with this kind of attitude, it will eventually degenerate more and more, as it's already degenerating. Just like it used to be when we read Prabhupada's books and took them seriously, that we were very careful, devotees were very careful not to eat food cooked by non-devotees. There was no question of devotees watching TV, going to the movies and all this kind of thing. And then gradually came the idea, well, it's okay. It doesn't really matter that much if you eat some kami, food cooked by non-devotees, or sometimes watch television, or sometimes go to the movies. It's okay. It's all right. Contraceptives, well, Prabhupada, we didn't read that he said it's demoniac, but that's all right. Don't read it. Don't read the books, and then you won't know. You don't need to read the books because you just get some special mercy. So contraceptives, well, we don't talk about it, but it's just going on in the back. So, and now it's come to the stage where we hear that preachers in our movement are telling others, well, you should use contraceptives, and you should take your wife to the kami restaurant. You see, you shouldn't be too fanatical. You should watch TV, send your kids to the best schools, and all these. So it's coming down. And in Bengal, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission was spread widely, there's widespread idea that, well, you chant Hare Krishna, you just get some special mercy, and you can eat fish and smoke and do all these kind of things. It doesn't matter. They don't know. They don't know anything else because they don't get any spiritual education, and that's what they hear. So it started off in Bengal that there were the pure associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preaching, and now it's come to this. What happened? The idea of special mercy spoiled everything. Everything degenerated because they thought, well, we don't have to follow the process. So, if our movement becomes like this, we think it's more about special mercy than giving up sense gratification, then we're surrendering to Krishna, following regulated sadhana, trying to understand the philosophy. You don't need any of that, just special mercy. That means already the seeds of sahajiyarism are there. And in the same way, you see there are so many gurus in Hindu, big gurus. Bangalore is like the capital of bogus gurus. This one of them, well, he lived fairly close to here. He went from his wheelchair back to hell where he came from. There was the wheelchair Bhagavan. He was very popular here in Bangalore. And then Amma, she comes around quite a lot. Sri has his... but they don't give any serious spiritual teachings, or they don't try to inculcate in their disciples any serious understanding of the philosophy, or that they have to surrender to Krishna or that they have to endeavor in devotional service. It's just some big figure who you go to and you see, and then you feel, and that's it. But that's not the process of Krishna consciousness. The process of Krishna consciousness is that the mercy of the Vaishnavas, the mercy of Krishna comes through the Vaishnavas, and that mercy comes in the instruction by which we can become purified. Not that you just jump over all the process immediately. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his mercy to all of us by instructing us to follow the process. We have to follow that very seriously. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tato Anartha Nivriti. We should consider, what is this? Anartha Nivriti. What is anartha? Anartha means all kinds of material attachments. Anartha means the desire to enjoy this material world. Anartha means misconceptions. Srila Prabhupada spoke literally day and night the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in a manner that we could be free from all misconceptions. If we don't have a clear understanding of this philosophy of who Krishna is and what our relationship with him is, then we're going to have a misunderstanding. And then we won't be able to practice pure devotional service properly. So the process of Krishna consciousness works. The process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to us works. We don't have to add any imaginary concocted special mercy or anything else. But we have to practice it seriously in the prescribed method with the proper attitude. It's not that, well, we just go to a yatra once a year, or we go to a kirtan mela once a year, or maybe even twice a year. And the rest of the time we go along in a kind of humdrum way, and we just go to Vrindavan and get some special mercy, and we put some Vrindavan dust in the tabiz and wear it on our arm, and that's it. We got the special mercy. There's no substitute for surrender to Krishna. There's no substitute for seriously practicing sadhana. We shouldn't think that, well, if we say that, then no one will want to join, and therefore we have to water it down and make it easy for everyone and bring lots of people. But by sacrificing quality in the name of quantity, we just end up with a bunch of people who no one goes back to Godhead. The ultimate result is zero. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, I would be at the expense of all my mudds and missions, if I could have one pure devotee, I'd feel satisfied. But if we bring many, many people and we don't preach pure devotional service to any of them, or we preach it in our own newly defined way, then the result is that no one goes back to Godhead, because they don't have any proper idea of what it means to be a pure devotee anyway. So, concluding remarks, that special mercy, getting special mercy from Guru and Krishna doesn't mean that you go on with sense gratification and somehow or other get Krishna consciousness. In fact, to teach such thing is not special mercy at all. It's just a special kind of cheating. Because as long as one is engaging in sense gratification or fostering the idea of enjoying sense gratification, then there's absolutely no question of attaining devotional service. What we see from all these quotations from Srila Prabhupada is that special mercy of Guru and Krishna means that one rises above all base desires and comes to the platform of pure devotional service, which means the platform of no desire other than to serve Krishna. So the term special mercy should not be reinterpreted or misinterpreted, as we sometimes see in our movement nowadays, to mean something completely opposite to what it is actually meant to mean. It shouldn't be interpreted to mean that we can somehow or other remain in Maya and be Krishna conscious at the same time, or rather special mercy means that mercy by which we can get free from Maya and actually be in Krishna consciousness. Another thing, an important point, is that those who talk about special mercy, or we don't see that the people who are supposed to be getting the special mercy seem to be doing any better in Krishna consciousness. This idea that you get some super guru who gives you some special mercy, we don't see that those who become the followers of such super gurus are doing any better for their so-called special mercy. The idea that you get this special mercy can also be actually obstructing our advancement in Krishna consciousness, in as much as we think, well, now I got the mercy and I don't have to try myself. But really, we have to take the mercy of Guru and Krishna and make our own effort also, as described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it's stated, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, that in this universe, out of millions of living beings, one may get the seed of the creeper of devotional service by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. But then it's described that one has to water that seed by the process of hearing and chanting. One has to water the resulting creeper. So we have to do our work also, and not be lazy just with the idea we're going to get some special mercy. In other words, like all other terms that are spoken in Shastra and by the Acharyas, we have to learn what they mean in terms of pure devotional service and not redefine them in terms of Maya. That section of Chaitanya Charitamrita which describes the creeper of devotional service also describes the various creepers that may grow up which look like the creeper of devotional service, but are actually weeds that choke the real creeper. So this whole concept of having special mercy, that somehow or other by some magic wand we, without making any effort, we become Krishna conscious. This is also another kind of weed that chokes the actual creeper. It redefines, it subtly attempts to redefine what is actual devotional service. So we should be very careful of this and not be fooled by persons who peddle so-called special mercy. Stick to the real process. Be sincere. There are no magic shortcuts. We have to become free from material desires. We have to work on that. It requires steady sadhana, practice over an extended period of time. So that's the reality. Don't be fooled by someone who wants to give you some so-called shortcut. So, Hare Krishna. That's what I wanted to say about special mercy. That was, often devotees come to me and ask for me, give your mercy. Okay, this is my special mercy. If you want, you can listen to this class. Hare Krishna. Does anyone have any? Yes. Questions? Comments? You're welcome to question in any way you like. It was, what I just spoke could be considered provocative. So if you feel provoked, if you're burning inside, then let me know. Let's discuss. If there are any points that maybe you think I said something wrong or I misrepresented something, bring it out. There's a time for being polite and there's a time for not being polite. So I don't mind if you're not polite or if you think it's not polite. Say. If anyone has any question about all this. Politeness can be an obstacle also. That you're just so polite that you don't want to say anything when you need to say it. Yes? You have a lot of material desires. Yes. So do I. So does everyone in this material world. They don't go immediately. But they are going. They are going. They are going. It's a big problem, isn't it? It's a big problem. We want to be Krishna conscious, but we have so many material desires. We feel like we're trying to swim with a big metal ball chained to our ankle. What to do? We have to call out for the special mercy of Krishna. We have to follow the... What can we do? What can we... We want to be pure. We have to have faith that the process given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Srila Prabhupada, that it works. We have to stick to it. That we have to practice Krishna consciousness as best we can and pray for the mercy of Hari, Guru and Vaishnava. Now, it's not that I was talking about misconceptions about mercy, but definitely mercy it's a major factor. It's a necessary factor. Without the mercy of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, we cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. But we have to very sincerely pray for that. And we have to follow the process that they gave us. There's one section in the book I've written, Brahmacharya and Krishna Consciousness, called Overcoming Material Desires. You can please read that. Doesn't mean that just by reading it, you're going to get free from material desires. But we should have faith that if we go on with this process and we really try our best to serve Krishna, that surely Krishna will help us. Don't give up the process. Keep on going. Don't get discouraged because we have material desires. We all have material desires. I don't want to be blasphemous. There may be some absolutely pure devotees in our presence, but it's quite likely, and you can tell me if you happen to be free from material desires, I apologize to you, and you can tell us all. But I would otherwise guess that everyone in this room who's practicing Krishna consciousness still has material desires. So if anyone doesn't, then you can kindly bless us all. It's not so easy. They don't just go away. But if we stick to the process, Krishna will surely help us. That faith we have to have. Anything else, please? No. Hare Krishna. You want to make some announcements? We're not finished yet. Sorry, it's a long session here. You're thinking my special mercy will be I'll finish. That's only part one. It's a birthday. We have to give him some special mercy. We wish that he'll never get born again. Yeah, okay. So what are we supposed to do for the birthday boy? Yeah. So there's a birthday boy. If you really want to benefit your children, train them so they don't get born again. That's the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Guru nasasyat. What is it? Swajana nasasyat. Pita nasasyat. Janani nasasyat. Daivang tatsyanna patishcha sasyat. Namochi adyah samupetu mrityum. One should not become a guru, a relative, a father, mother, or a worshipper person to anyone unless we can deliver them from birth and death. So what are we supposed to do with a birthday child? announce and all give blessings that he takes to Krishna consciousness seriously and doesn't get born again. That's the idea. Actually, this whole idea of making a big thing of birthdays, it's imported from Western culture. Sorry to say. But in the Western world, they make a big thing and they give extra sense gratification to the child with the idea that's being nice to him on his birthday. But we see in Vedic culture, Krishna, then Nanda Maharaj would call the Brahmanas and they'd give charity to the Brahmanas and the Brahmanas would bless Krishna. So it's not meant for sense gratification for the children. You can organize a Sankirtan festival and distribute prasad. That would be best. And ask the Vaishnavas for their blessings. Hare Krishna. All right, very good. What am I supposed to do? Give him a garland? All right. Hare Krishna. All right. Okay, now special mercy for Mataji called Shraddha, who was supposed to be initiated last week but wasn't able to, so she can be now. She went to offer pranam to Prabhupada. All right. So by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, many people are coming forward in Krishna consciousness and getting initiated. But we should know that initiation is not the full mercy. When you follow, then you get. Initiation means that I'm going to act in such a way that we will, so as to attract the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So the name that you've been having so far in this life is Shraddha. So that's a very good name. And now you can be known as Shraddha Devi Dasi. Shraddha is the gift of Radha. Shraddha Devi Dasi. Shraddha Devi is Bhakti Devi, Shraddha Devi. So have full faith in Hari, Guru and Vaishnava and impart that faith to others, and that will be the proper meaning of the name, Shraddha.